And typically, most kids are open until 5 or 6. And think about that. That's when they go into the school systems, right? If that's where they're going. And that's when they kind of have to be put into a box almost, right? I mean, the whole reason I got into looking into past lives was because my youngest, when they were 4, would sit in the back seat while I was driving, because, as a mom of 3, you're always in the car, and tell me, "Mommy, I'm so sorry I was so mean to you last time when I was mommy and you were the little one. Can you please not?" I'd be like, "What are you talking about?"
Hello, possibility seekers. We're back. It is Possibilities with Monique de Maio, in case you don't know where you are. But I'm going to tell you, today's a great day to be here because my guest today is Kirsten Sharo. She's an intuitive coach, an energy healer, and an animal communicator. Kirsten supports people who are seeking clarity, calm, and a deeper connection to themselves, especially during seasons of transition, emotional overwhelm, or where they feel they've lost touch with their inner voice. Through intuitive coaching, energy healing, and practical spiritual tools, she helps people reconnect with their inner wisdom, trust themselves again, and rise to their authentic power. She is a Metatron color therapy trademark, practitioner and teacher, a Reiki Master Teacher, a certified children's relaxation teacher, and the creator of the Metatron Animal Knowledge System, a unique approach that blends animal communication and energy healing to support both animals and humans who love them. While animals are powerful teachers in her work, you don't need to have an animal to work with Kirsten. Her sessions often bring emotional clarity, comfort, and a sense of coming home to yourself, whether you're seeking guidance, healing, or connection with loved ones in spirit. Through her business, Dicey's Healing LLC, Kirsten offers private sessions, classes, and leads 2 supportive communities, The Empowered Journey and Whispers of Knowing, spaces created to help people calm the chaos of everyday life, build self-trust, and create meaningful, lasting change. And when she's not holding space for others, you'll usually find her with her Arabian horse, Dicey, spending time with her family, or fully enjoying her favorite role of all, being Oma to her grandson. Welcome, Kirsten.
Thank you. Thank you so much for having me.
So for those of you listening, I have had the very distinct pleasure of having Kirsten tell me things that she had no business knowing because she didn't know me from Adam. Turns out that we lived pretty close together in Bergen County, and I heard about her, and she was referred to me by someone that I trusted. And I had the opportunity to get closure about a lot of things that were happening in my life at the time, including the passing of my dad. So I know that you've helped friends of mine with the passing of their pets and the passing of their loved ones and things of that nature. And I think we're going to just go for it, right? Let's just
Okay, let's do it.
do it. So for those of you listening or people who don't understand what an intuitive medium spiritualist coach is, can you elaborate on how you would describe it to somebody that knows nothing?
Sure. I help people reconnect with their inner knowing, right? Because we all have that knowledge, but from an early age, typically, we're taught not to trust ourselves. And then we have life experiences, we have societal norms, we have our own cultural norms. All of that gets in the way, and we forget how to hear ourselves. So I simply help people plug back into themselves.
It's funny you say this because when little kids say some interesting things. I had a friend who told me that when her son was, I think he might have been 3, was telling her that he was having a conversation with grandpa who had passed. And, for those of us who say poo poo, okay, fine, turn the channel off. You don't need to listen. But for those of us who are interested in understanding why little humans can talk to people who have passed to the other side, it is because of that like openness that a child has, that naivete. They're not dubious, they're not doubtful, they're not.
They believe what they see, they believe what they hear, they trust it all. And typically, most kids are open until 5 or 6. And think about that. That's when they go into the school systems, right? If that's where they're going. And that's when They kind of have to be put into a box almost, right? I mean, the whole reason I got into looking into past lives was because my youngest, when they were 4, would sit in the back seat while I was driving, because, as a mom of 3, you're always in the car, um, and tell me, "Mommy, I'm so sorry I was so mean to you last time when I was mommy and you were the little one. Can you please not?" I'd be like, "What are you talking about?" So that led me to going to a community school class on past lives, and then having a private reading. And, I'm a reader. I am the worst person to read because I give you nothing, right? I won't give you anything. And so she's getting nothing from me, but she's hitting everything head on by telling me exactly what my youngest had been telling me, and tying it into a past life. Blown away. So yeah, kids say the darndest things.
But and when they do say the darndest things, it behooves us as adults to listen.
To listen. Absolutely. Yeah.
Yeah, I had one year many years ago, I thought I was a friend of mine had referred somebody. I thought I was getting an astrological reading, and the next thing I know, she's going into my past lives and telling me that.
Oh.
Oh yeah, I was not prepared for that at all.
Yeah, it could be totally traumatic if you're not ready for it. Totally traumatic. Yeah, yeah. It can explain a lot, but it can be like, it can give you a whole nother pile of stuff that you got to work through.
Yeah. So, moral of the story is let's listen to our children sometimes when they say some obscure things. When did you figure out that you had the ability to see and feel things that others could or cannot?
So you know what? I've always had a connection to animals. Anytime an animal would get out in the neighborhood, it would be like, go get Kirsten. And I would be able to get the animal, right? And get them home or whatever. So I've always had that. It wasn't until I had kids and started having these, what are you talking about moments? And then I started diving into it. And then I started taking monthly intuitive development classes and then testing what I was learning in those classes. And then I was blessed to have Dicey come into my life, and he just, like, accelerated all of it, all of it.
Now, Dicey's your horse, so tell me, how did he do that? Like, what did this animal do for you?
He is my horse, and yet he is my greatest teacher. So how did he do that for me? So one of the most vivid memories is Dice would not do as most horses are will do. Well, it would not do anything I wanted. I had to really notice my energy when I worked with Dice. I mean, literally, he would not even lead out a turnout. It was like laughing stock of the barn. Okay. And so one day I was there and I said to him, if you need anything, please let me know. I was brand new and I had no business owning this horse. Like, we should not have been together. And yet at the same time, it's very obvious why we were. And all I heard in my head was water. And so I went over and looked at his water trough, and it was bone dry. And then I was like, "Oh my God, that was so cool." And so then I really, really started paying attention to what the monthly class and the books I was reading and what was happening around me and what my body was saying. Because really, your intuition is your body. It's your biggest tool.
So I had a guest on a couple months ago, and she talked about, I think, MH, and she talked about how when things weren't in alignment for her, her belly hurt. Can you just talk a little bit about the signals that we get physically that we ignore regularly?
Okay, so everybody's different, right? Your intuitive language is going to be your language. Some of the most common, though, would be that pit in your stomach. You say yes, and you get that pit. That's really telling you should have said no. You might have, um, like, it feels like a heart, beat, fast heart rate, right? Um, for no reason. Or you walk into the room and you get goosebumps, right? And that incredibly abrasive person is walking towards you. So there's just different ways you might get shivers, chills. There's just different ways, and it comes into just stopping and tuning into your body. It's the pause. I call it the pause. You have to take a pause. Learn the pause.
I have a shirt from a yoga retreat. Thank you, Rosie McCann, that says practice the pause.
Yeah, exactly. It's the pause. You can learn so much in the pause.
I think that our societal norm, to you, back to your point, it doesn't engender and it doesn't reward the pause.
Absolutely not. No, it's the go, go, go.
The older I get, the more I realize that it's completely overrated and really.
Yeah. The older you get, I'm like, what, what was I doing?
Yeah, and also the pridefulness, pridefulness, yeah, the pridefulness of having the hustle on a 24/7 basis, and like, "I don't need more than 4 hours of sleep." I'm like, "Okay, hotshot."
Yeah, actually, you do.
Yeah, so my husband always says to me, he goes, "Monique, not everybody wants to be helped." Okay.
That's true. That's true. Very true.
So, how do I mean, you practice, you learned, you were coached, you were open, and then what was the journey like? Like, where did you start? And I don't know if Dice had a role in the before, during, and after, but, like, how did you become who you are now?
Dice had a big role in it, right? So we start with that whole I had started before I got him, right? With doing yoga and meditation and journaling and all of that. And my kids and the crazy things they were saying. And yes, no, all three of my kids are super intuitive in their own ways. Yeah. So I didn't want to squelch it, right? It was like I had my own science experiment going on in my house.
Your husband must be completely overwhelmed.
Oh, my husband, he would roll his eyes. The worst thing I can say to my husband is, I can't explain it to you, but this is how it has to be. He hates that. He hates because there's no logic. A lot of time. And that's another reason we discount our intuition is because it's often not logical. There's no proof, right? In society, God forbid you make a mistake. You have to have proof that it's going to work.
Right.
Intuition, a lot of time there isn't. So I had my own little science experiment happening. So my kids were helping me along. My horse was helping me along. And then Dice got hurt and he had to be in on stall rest for 6 months. That's like I'm just creating a ticking bomb because he can't be inside. And so I was on the internet, which was new back then, and this word Reiki popped up, and that's how I started my Reiki journey, right? So I get this book and it says it can't really help me. I have to find someone local. I gifted myself a massage for my birthday. I happened to mention it to the person. Turns out she's a Reiki Master Teacher, but doesn't do it anymore. It's just like when you just go with the flow, it happens. She called me back 2 weeks later and was like, I was thinking about it. I'll teach you. There's my Reiki master. I went all the way through to Reiki Master Teacher with her. And that's just how it's just gone that way. I follow the nudge and it's like being a toddler in that whole why? Every time you do something, why? It's like that's what I did it with. Like, okay, why? What happens if I try it this way? And I had to do it myself because back then, I mean, I had someone when they found out I was doing Reiki sessions asked me if I was doing voodoo. So like it's not like I could sit down at Starbucks, have a cup of coffee with you and just talk about it. It was like I was in the closet doing this.
That is, I think that's a really good thing to put a pin in right now. I hate that expression. Actually, I should stop using it. Just the notion that there are certain things that are okay to talk about, journaling, meditation, awareness, intuitive, intentionality, whatever. Those are of the moment, they're of the year, whatever, they're of the decade. But I think 20 years ago, when I said I had a reading from a spiritualist, people were like, "Are you kidding me?" They're all, and then I'd get, they're all charlatans. They look you up on social media, they find out things about you. I'm like, "Honey, there is no way that a spiritualist could find out that I had a dead cousin who changed her hair color every other week, and then she told me that." Okay, I'm pretty sure Facebook don't got that kind of info.
Yes. I've had people say that to me. I am not booking with you because you could look me up. Let me tell you something. As a mom of three running a business, I don't have time to do what I need to do, let alone try and figure out who you are. Like, okay, one less thing I got to worry about.
I know. I know, no, and so for me now, it's much easier if I say I had a reading from a medium, and then they'll be like, "Was she good? Did she what did you get insights?" I'm like, "Yeah," and everybody's insights are different, and also, Are you open when you're receiving the insights?
Big difference. Yeah. If you come in with expectations and it has to be said this way, you're gonna have a hard time.
I believe this is male, female, I think. Now, correct me if I'm wrong. I love my men. I do think men are more suspicious and more because they're logical beings, right? Women are more intuitive and like we have the nurturing thing and we don't really know there's something in our gut. We follow our gut. We're like more, we go with the flow. We have to because we're moms and we have to take care of the little people, right? Men are much more like precision, aim, ready, fire. It has to be logical, blah, blah, blah. So somebody will say, well, if you want a closure with your mom, your dad, your grandma, whatever, they'll be like, that's not possible.
The large majority of men are like that, yes. But there's that little group over there that gives me hope.
Yeah. Yeah, thank you. And so do you find that when you have somebody that's reticent that comes into your space, now you're all about energy, right? So if you're open, you show up open and it's easier. If somebody shows up closed, but they're doing it because either their wife said they should do it. Can you still break through you most of the time?
99.9% of the time I can.
Yeah.
I can, right? And so that's part of a lesson for me, right? That it's not a reflection of me. It's where that person is. So it's compassion for myself and for that person that's where you are and you're not hearing what I'm saying. And so I'll just say to that person, okay, just write it down or put it in the back of your head, however you remember things, and see what happens.
It's so funny because those who are listening, the last reading I had with Kirsten, which was last week, I had a wonderful, wonderful mentor very briefly because she passed away way before her time. She hadn't even hit 50. And she came to me in a dream or I don't even know because I could have been half conscious. I don't really know what state I was in, but she came to me and it was like, I thought about her. I woke up in the morning. I was like, wow. So I wonder how Sophie is, she's in heaven and blah, blah, blah. And you saw her and she was talking to me and she was like, I'm still here and I've always been here for you. And that made me, first of all, made me cry, but also it was like, how interesting that she came to me and then she showed up in our reading. That's not an accident.
No, it's all energy. That's how it works. It's pretty neat, really. That's where that whole toddler thing of why? Like, why? How does that happen?
I want you to talk about the calming the chaos thing. And again, back to the hustle. People really think that you should be in this constant state of logic and like control. And control's overrated because guess what?
You don't have any. No.
You're like, okay, well, you think you're in control. You have agency on the stuff that's happening to you, but you don't have control that it's happening, right? Like we can't. That's kind of like what I'm dealing with is as in my at my age, I'm like, okay, I can't control what's going to happen. I can only control what I respond to what's going to happen.
That's it, your reaction.
Calming the chaos, people really take your calm a very interesting way. So share the story about John, your husband, and his heart attack as a very young man. Now you have 3 little kids.
I have 3 little kids, and it was Thanksgiving Day. It was the first Thanksgiving that John was off in years because he was a career firefighter. He had just retired in May, so super excited to have him home. And he went and did his little treadmill workout. He had just run a 5K down in Disney a few weeks before. And he came up, he looked so funny. And then he just said, I have to go to the hospital. So he's a career firefighter and a paramedic. So it's a big deal if he says he has to go to the hospital.
And you have to listen because he's not bullshit.
I got to listen because, yeah. So we go to the hospital. I call who I have to real quick for the kids and whatnot. We go to the hospital. He's in the triage section and, everybody knows him. And they call me over and they both look at me, my husband and the tech, and he goes, I'm having a heart attack. And I look at them, I go, so let's fix this. Okay, let's roll, people. So they roll him back. And now all the nurses and the doctor are in there because he's having a heart attack and they know him. He's one of them. And I'm standing outside while they're doing the assessment and I'm waiting. But while I'm doing that, I'm checking in with my crew, my spiritual crew, and it's going to be okay. I know it's going to be okay. So the doctor comes out, he's asking me questions and not really liking the answers because there's a big cardiac history in my husband's family. Not liking those answers that I'm giving him. The nurse comes out, asks me if I want water. I'm like, no. And she's like, do you really understand what's happening right now? Now, side note, I'm an EMT, okay, very basic EMT there, but yeah, I've done CPR on people. Yeah, I fully aware of what's happening. I'm like, yeah, I get it. Well, why are you so calm? What do you want me to do? Stand there and scream so that your attention is taken away from my husband? I need him at home. I have 3 little kids. I'm not doing this alone. I said that part actually. I'm like, I need him. Go fix him. And so the time that he was in the ER to the time that he got down to the stent cardiac cath lab was very short. Okay. So then they let me come. The nurses have me kiss him and say goodbye just in case. And then they put me into the waiting area. Okay. Fun fact, it's Thanksgiving. Nobody's there and no lights are on. So I'm literally sitting in the dark waiting for my husband while he's getting his stent put in. And again, I'm checking in and everything's going to be okay. I know that everything's going to be okay. Gets through it. I go home. Everything is okay. I mean, emotionally, we're all traumatized and we have some adjustments we need to be made. But here we are 15, 16 years later and everything is okay. When my husband went back to work a few weeks later, the nurse that was with me in the ER was like, did she really understand what was happening? Did your wife really, really know what a heart attack is? You know, thank God for my husband. I love him. And, he didn't call me out because, again, 15 years ago, right? He's not going to sit there and say, she was talking to her spirit guides and everything was okay. She already thinks I'm a nut, right? And, and he's like, she totally understood. She's very good in emergencies and just left it at that. So the point there is I had done enough work up to that incredibly traumatic, oh my God moment that I could stop, practice the pause, and listen and know that in my gut, everything was going to be okay. Were we at a tough spot? Yeah. But was it going to be okay? Yes.
I love that story because it does encapsulate people's expectation that unless you're freaking out, you don't care. And honestly, the freak out is so counterintuitive to resolution or helpfulness.
It does, and that's exactly it. I'm not going to do that and draw your attention over here because I'm going to faint, I'm going to scream, I'm going to cry. Go fix the problem.
It's really funny because my husband is really, really good with his own stuff, but when the kids used to get hurt, he would overreact in front. I'm like, "It's fine. It's fine. If you don't react, he didn't get hurt. He's not gonna cry. It's good. They're looking for your reaction first, and then they cry. If you
Exactly.
cry, then they'll cry. If you scream, then they'll scream. If you're like, "Oh, uppies, let's go. Like, no big deal. Don't scream." Anyway, so we if somebody said, "Okay, let me call you," how does it work? How do you tell people to prep? How do you tell people to show up? What do you because again, you don't need any advance information.
I don't want any advanced information. I don't want it because I don't want to be skewed by your perceptions, right? So if you contact me for an intuitive reading or an animal communication, for animal communication, all I simply say is please send me a picture of the animal and the name. And if it's an intuitive medium, I say, okay, come with an open heart, open mind, and have a list of questions. And let's see. They're fun sessions because you never know what's going to happen. Never going to know. And usually I tune in like 15 minutes before the session so that I have notes. But the client always has the option of going through their questions first or hearing what my notes are, right? Because it's the client's session, and I want to make sure that the client covers everything the client is hoping to.
Right. So in a typical scenario, we can use mine as an example because there's full disclosure and I'm an open book and I want people to be more open-minded about this possibility. What happened? You tuned in 15 minutes before our session and then what ended up happening? You can tell people what happened. Apparently my relatives are very, very committed.
They're very much around, right? So people come in and they crowd in. Sometimes, like yesterday's session, I when I woke up, the the energy was there already giving. I'm like, I haven't even had my coffee. Like, I got to write this down. I'm not going to remember it in 7 hours. Like, so, it's not unusual. It's not unusual. And most spirits, energies, and whatever, when I say boundary here, they're very good about it, right? And then when I sit down, I'll be like, okay, now you can come forward. So yeah, you had a crowd, and it's good because then I can decipher through them. Okay, who's stepping forward? Where, how are you related? What is your message? What do we need to know? And that's just how I go through it. Same with the animals. I check in with the animals. What do you need? How are you feeling? All that stuff.
So good. So, so good.
It's fun.
It's so much fun. You say everyone has intuition, right? How would somebody begin honing that for themselves?
Okay, so everyone has intuition. You're going to have those that are more intuitive and don't realize it. Like, I'll do readings with people and I know instantly that they're intuitive just based on how they're talking to me, but they're not understanding that they're intuitive, right? So invariably, I'll be like, they'll ask me a question. I did this yesterday. What does your gut say? And I can tell my gut says blah, blah, blah. Okay, super intuitive. The other one over here is, I don't know what my gut's saying. That's because they're still listening to everyone outside. It's a matter of, yeah, they're in their head. It's a matter of forgetting you got a head and move from your neck down and paying attention. So, I teach the pause. I teach really tuning into your body. Ask a question. How does your body respond? Journaling, meditating, energy work. We do all those fun things.
Yeah, it's the best. So I'm just getting into it. I listened to your that session was amazing. It had me really thinking. What would you say to someone who has, let's say they have unresolved issues with somebody that passed and it's taking up a lot of energy, in their lives today, right? And they maybe they regret something or they have remorse.
Right. And so now they're in the thought that I can never fix it. You can fix it, right? Because everything's energy. You can. So for me, and I've done this, you can write letters. You can actually write letters to that person. That's energy. It's your energy. It's your intention. You're getting everything out. You can burn it during a full moon if you want, or get rid of it however you want. You could do journal prompts, reflection prompts, and really, really get down to what is the actual root cause of that regret, that grief, that whatever it is, right? Because a lot of times it's, let's say something happens and you're angry. I'm angry. Yeah, but what's the actual root to the anger? Like, why are you angry? So it's the same idea with people that have passed that you feel there's no resolution. It's self-honesty, actually. It's sitting down and being incredibly brutally honest with yourself and looking at your part that you played in that relationship.
And you can fix it if, let's say, they're open to the.
If you're open to it, yeah, I mean, it's not an overnight thing, but you can certainly work through it so that, you have grief because that person is not physically here, right? There's that loss, and you have peace at the same time. My whole goal is to help people find their peace because we need it.
Amen. That's for sure. Yeah, it's for sure. So what continues to surprise you about people after all of these years of doing intuitive work?
I don't know, just how they automatically think they're wrong, or they're stuck in their situation and nothing can be fixed by it, right? Like they can't change it, or they've done something wrong, or they've forgotten something, or something like that.
And it's like a fixed situation, not you can't it's not malleable, it's not.
Yeah, that there's no way out of where they are in this current moment, and there's nothing further from the truth. I mean, could it be hard and uncomfortable? Yeah, but you can still change your situation.
Good point. I love that. What is something that nobody knows about you?
I am deathly afraid of needles. Even though I rode on the ambulance when I had to help the medics, I could hand them their tape, but I could not look at the needles.
Really?
I'm the biggest baby when I have to have blood work. My husband literally will leave work to come hold my hand.
Aww.
I am a baby.
You must have had trauma in a previous life with a needle.
I must have, and I'm not looking for it. It's going to stay back there.
No needles. That's kind of a funny thing for the EMT, but yeah, whatever. So what was the worst advice you were ever given? And did your intuition play a role into your response to it?
So you know what? I don't have one worst thing because my intuition has always played into it. Once I started really testing it and whatnot, so any major life, career, or anything, kid rearing, anything like that, if it was the wrong decision, I looked at it as a learning experience. And it was like, you should have trusted your gut on that one. There's been nothing, knock on wood, super horrific that I haven't been able to turn to a positive in some way.
What's the worst thing that somebody said to you? Like, when they, back in the day, it could have happened, right? Somebody like, what does that mean? Medium, spiritualist. What is that?
Oh, no, I just had it yesterday. You know, that thing you do with the animals. Oh, yeah.
I'm sorry.
Okay. Right there, I know what's happening, right? I know where we're going here.
That's so dismissive and so it's actually really, oh, wow. It's disrespectful.
Yeah. Yeah. And so when a boundary was put in place, I was told that I had bad vibes. And oh, yeah, it got ugly. It got ugly quick on that end because there was no satisfaction of a response from me.
Interesting. I would hope that people that don't want to engage just don't engage. Just don't do it. If you're not open to hearing or you're not open to understanding how these things happen and how you are guided in a way that maybe the average man, woman, child is not, because we're just not, then step off. But don't like don't be a hindrance to the thing. You know what I mean?
Yeah. It's not like I'm going door to door knocking. You want to talk to some, like, no, you sought me out.
Oh my God, that's crazy. That is insane. Okay. To each his own. Back up the bus. I say no negative Nelly energy. I only want positive Patty. I have no time for negative Nelly. If negative Nelly wants to be negative, she can go do it in somebody else's house. So if you were able to talk to your 30-year-old self and you had the opportunity to have that conversation with her, what would you tell her?
Oh, I would tell her that it's going to get fun. It's going to get super bumpy and you're still going to make it through. Stronger, better, more confident, peaceful, and everything that you hope for, you're going to have.
Woohoo! That is a powerful message if I've ever heard one. What would you have as parting words for the audience? Just like, your message to the world that's listening.
When you learn to go within and actually learn yourself, you can have a peace, even in the middle of all that chaos, that is indescribable.
I'm going to have to learn it.
It's a process, and that's the other part of society, right? Give me a pill so it fixes it. I have this repetitive thought, just fix it. It's a process, people. But if you stick with the process, it's well worth it.
Wonderful. Thank you so much, Kirsten Sharo. This has been
for having me.
so much fun. I can't wait for people to contact you and ask me questions and do all the things that they do, because it's fun on this side, people.
Thank you for having me. I appreciate it.
All right. Well, possibility seekers, I need you to give me some love here. We need some pluses, we need some reviews, we need some subscriptions, some reach outs. It's never a better time to make it a great day. So do that, people. Have a great day. No, make it a great day. Thank you. Bye-bye. Thank you so much for listening to Possibilities with Monique de Maio, where we unpack life as a female mover and shaker. If you like the show, please consider liking it, or better still, subscribing to it and leaving us a rating. It truly does help. Also, you can pick up my book, The 7 Secrets to Creating a Life You Love, a practical guide for women in leadership. You can find the book, other episodes of this podcast, and how to stay in touch at moniquedemaio.com. DEMAIO. I look forward to seeing you again soon. With gratitude, Monique.